Kama umevaa kofia tunakuomba utoe, na naweza kuwaomba msimame ili tuweze kuomba pamoja. Asanteni. Mungu wetu na Baba wetu, katika jina la Kristo Yesu, asubuhi ya leo tuanja mbele ya kiti chako, tunakushukuru kwa sababu ya neema za safari. Tazama tunaenda kuanza mikutano yetu siku ya leo na kazi ambayo iko.
The construction of the G47 towers, expected to be a landmark development that will support devolution because counties will be able to have facilities to work from here in the city. Secondly, also the launch of the economic recovery strategy, because having closed the economy for many months because of COVID, the two levels of government have to take deliberate action in order to revive and resuscitate the economy. So this first panel discussion will look at the linkage between county and national economic recovery strategies. Today, we shall also be launching the strategies by each of the counties. And the totality of that is what then is a national recovery strategy. So ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce the panelists who really don't need any introduction, not in any order, but allow me to start with Her Excellency Governor Charity Ngilu, Governor of Kitui. Shall we appreciate her by Makofi? Allow me to introduce the chair of the County Assemblies Forum, the Speaker for Nyandarua, Honorable Ndego Ahome. Also, allow me then to introduce the President of the Chamber, the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Richard Ngatia. Makofi tafadhali. And to moderate and walk them through the discussion, the Deputy Governor of Nyeri, Dr. Caroline Karogo. Makofi kwake. So this session will go on for about half an hour, moderated by the Deputy Governor of Nyeri, and thereafter we shall transition to the next step. Asante sana, welcome, Deputy Governor of Nyeri.
Well, I thank you very much, Governor Birito. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's a delightful morning, and I feel extremely privileged and humbled to moderate this distinguished panel of extremely knowledgeable and experienced people. And we will be discussing, or we'll be setting the mood and the pace for today's agenda. Indeed, it's needless to say that the economic impact of COVID-19 is far-reaching, and all our economic indicators are telling the story, a sad story, a story that needs to be looked at. We need to look at it with eyes of the future, and more importantly, we need to strategize and plan on how we can buffer the economy against the imminent economic shocks. And if you look at just some basic indicators, economic indicators that I say are telling a very sorry story. If, for instance, just this morning I was looking at the GDP rate, which is at negative 9.1. We are actually growing to the wrong direction. And even the most optimistic econometric models are only assuring us of a recovery in the year 2023, and that recovery will be estimated at about 2%. If you look at, for instance, inflation in the country currently standing at 5.46, if you look at other indicators, economic indicators like the employment rate, which has really doubled from January to date, from about 5.2% to what we're seeing now 10.4%. If you even look further at, for instance, the Nairobi Securities Exchange, which is used as an economic barometer, the NSE 20 share index has been able to shield about 1,000 points from 2,700. I think yesterday it closed to at about 1,778. This is amidst many corporate actions from listed companies. We've seen a lot of companies telling their investors that their profits are not looking up and issuing profit warnings. And perhaps the hottest potato in a conversation that has been had in this country quite recently, the issue of the currency fluctuation, the issue of the fact that the shilling seems to be on a free fall. The shilling is on a free fall against all major currencies. If you are going to look at, for instance, the US dollar, year to date, the shilling has moved from 100 to, I think yesterday it closed at 111.8. Now that's a very sad story if, for instance, you look at it with the backdrop of the current debt in the country. At least 2.3 trillion shillings of our debt is dollar denominated. So that means that this debt is growing at a rate of at least 11%. It is therefore, like I said, a sad story. The economic indicators are not telling a good story. And just the day before yesterday, we had our CS for Treasury telling us to buckle up and brace ourselves for worse times and bad times and hard times ahead. And therefore, it's important to have this conversation. Now that we are looking at harsh times ahead, how can county governments prepare themselves? How can county assemblies prepare themselves to buffer? How can the Chamber of Commerce assist businesses to be able to take in these shocks? And I think I'll want to start today's panel by hearing from the Chamber of Commerce. Bwana Richard Ngatia, first let me start by congratulating you. I haven't met you since you were chair. It's extremely good that you could make it to come to this panel. Now, statistics are showing us that, I think I was reading the economic survey, recent economic survey by Central Bank, that indicates that about, it yours between 95 to 98% of Kenyan businesses are actually classified as micro, small, and medium enterprises. And these have borne the brunt of course, of the COVID-19 economic shocks. We'd like to hear from you, perhaps, what are the mechanisms that the Chamber is putting in place to ensure that these businesses are able to remain afloat, and those that have gone down are able to recover? And perhaps another very interesting question that we would want to hear your view is, how is the Chamber working with governors in the counties, where you are countrywide? Are you working with governors? Are governors briefed on the activities that the Chamber is taking? And how can we further link your office or the Chamber and that of the governors? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Deputy Governor and the moderator, Your Excellency's Cabinet Secretary. Thank you very much for inviting me to this very important session. And looking at a few of the mechanisms that we as the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce has taken initiatives to make sure that we have put in place ways of socio-economic and re-engineering, and to make sure that the businesses actually recover, and more so listening to what the Cabinet Secretary, National Treasury, warned us yesterday, that we have to battle our belts. We as the Chamber are looking at how then do we, or the entrepreneurs, survive through this period, probably 3 years. So I think we are looking at survival. One of the things as the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and which is part of our mandate in terms of advocacy, networking, and trade facilitation, is to make sure that there is availability of finance, because that has been the key problem to our members and to the private sector. So we have partnered with financial institutions, with development partners to come up with tailor-made programs for our members. One of the partners is the MasterCard Foundation, and through this partnership, we have brought together, we have collated information on how we can be able to support the informal sector, namely the Jua Kali, the hawkers, shoe shiners, mama mboga, artisans, all these, the creative industry, all these people, how they can be able to be supported in terms of survival. So the MasterCard Foundation has put aside 600 million Kenya shillings, and this is to support that informal sector by giving each individual entrepreneur a sum of up to about 30,000 for 2 months, but a revolving fund. So far, since the last 2.5 weeks, we have been able to disburse 70 million Kenyan shillings across all the 47 counties, but we are anticipating in the next probably 2 months, we shall be able to exhaust the funds so that we look at the next phase with the MasterCard Foundation. And more so, we are also training them on how to apply digitally, on how to make sure that they can be able to repay their dues on time, and we're also supporting them in terms of markets. The other critical and very important program is with Equity Bank, where they have put aside 200 billion Kenya shillings for SMEs, and the criteria for those SMEs to benefit is to become, to be chamber members. So as long as you have that certificate authenticating that you're a member, then you benefit, one, from training, and so far we have been able to train 12,000 members with that partnership of Equity Bank. We have been, the Equity Bank has been able to disburse about 1.2 billion so far, and we are looking at within the 3 years, then the funds will be exhausted and we'll be able to support these people in terms of financial inclusion. There is a partnership which we signed last year with the Kenya Bankers Association. Again, this is to support MSMEs on programs like Iduka and Stawi, and again, we support these people or these sectors in terms of capacity building and finances as well. Very interesting program from the Swedish government. This is a FSD, which is Financial Sector Deepening. Again, this is a program to support retailers so that retailers can be able to get goods from distributors in the markets. They can be able to get an allowance of about 30 to 40 days before they pay. So once you're in this system, you are able to be accommodated credit through that guarantee by the FSD. And there is also a consideration of youth in business and women in business as well. And through a partnership with Amref Italia, Amref Italia has put aside 117 million Kenyan shillings to support women groups. So these women groups will be able to get soft grants as well, and also loans that are interest-free. Then we do have the program which was launched the other day by the government, His Excellency the President Uhuru Kenyatta, and this is the stimulus package where there is support of SMEs in terms of credit guarantees. Again, our role was to make sure that we advocate for our members to make sure they benefit with this guarantee scheme. And most importantly, to make sure that we unpack what the government initiative is doing, what the government is doing, we unpack to our members again. In the second phase, in terms of supporting them, is enhancement of market development. So what we did during the first intervention of COVID-19 pandemic, this was the first case that was reported then, and there was a lockdown. Then we had to sit and seek a way, we had to re-engineer business processes. And we then approached the Council of Governors, we approached the national government to make sure that markets remain active. And there is essential movement of products like foods, there's essential movement of medical and pharmaceutical products as well. And therefore, that way, markets then were able to move their products and intertrade within counties. We were also part of making sure that we provide essential services letters so that they can also be able to extend their time of working and hours of working as well. And also not forgetting supply chains of foods as well. A program with Switch Africa Green, which was very important in terms of supporting agricultural value chains, where we have been able to capacity build and support 3 value chains, which is mango, dairy, and coffee. And we have been able to support this sector through the partnership with European Union. Again, not forgetting a very important partner who is AGRA. Within AGRA, we have supported the sector in terms and in partnership with Ministry of Agriculture in terms of training and making sure that we train them on agri-business. And this is to make sure that the services are not interrupted within the cross borders. And within this, because I'm still the chair of the Great Lakes Region Private Sector Forum, that is about 12 states, we have sat and to see how can members of each state benefit and intertrade in terms of eradicating poverty, in terms of making sure we eradicate conflicts between and within our borders through trade. So that was one of the very important keys that we made sure that has happened, and we're in partnership with the United Nations Special Envoy as well. Then the third one and the final, which is a creation of jobs. Again, we've come in handy to make sure that we, under, again, KBA, there is a lot of training and capacity building. There is also business re-engineering and advocacy of economic stimulus. Again, that was very key to make sure that there is creation of jobs within our sector. And also not forgetting the digital trading through e-commerce. I think those are the three.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Chair. I think I'd like to recognize our late arrivals this morning. Starting with our PS Treasury, PS Dr. Muya, and nominated Senator Sylvia Kasanga. Karibuni sana. So the next speaker, I think, will be, would like to invite the County Assembly's Forum Chair. And what we seek to understand from you is, in a quick 3 minutes, tell us what are the county assemblies planning to do to buffer wananchi on the economic shocks that are coming due to COVID-19. And more importantly, during the budgeting cycle, what will we see? What are we likely to see in the next budget in terms of priorities? Karibu.
Yes, thank you very much, the moderator. My name is Dago Wahome, the Speaker for Nyandarua and the Chair of the County Assemblies Forum. And for us, as the County Assemblies, we are looking upon, and in most of us, our expectations are being met, where in some assemblies the governors have submitted audits on where counties were before the setting of this coronavirus pandemic. And because we can only be able to work around knowing where we were before the pandemic, and then what impact the pandemic has had on the economies of the counties, and then we agree, after appreciating the disruptions, then we agree what are the intervening measures that should be employed to ensure that we are able to deliver to the needs and aspirations of our people. On that one, I would say that mainly that audit has not happened in most of the counties. And therefore, for the assemblies to appreciate the extent of the disruptions and make the necessary budgetary interventions in league with the county executives, it becomes an issue. But definitely, there are issues that are come out very clearly. That health is a very major priority. Agriculture is also a very major priority. Water and sanitation, add education. On the area of health, definitely it is the same story. We need to have health centers, health facilities that are able to reach our people in or around their places. They don't have to go to those long distances. That might not be an immediate measure because the physical infrastructure is an expensive venture. But then, even intervention measures of doing temporary facilities during this time of pandemic so that we are able to reach our people.
Thank you.
The other issue is that then we need the skills. Has there been audit skills of what our health centers are able to do? What is the status of our stores? But what I would say as assemblies is we are very patient and we are able to grant to the executives what they need when it comes to confronting the disruptions during these areas of pandemic. In terms of food security, definitely agriculture was devastated at this time because most of the monies from agriculture, from trade, we moved that money to the health sector. Therefore, there was a lot of disruptions. And therefore, there must be concerted efforts, and we are seeing it happening in the current budget and implementation and in the annual development plan that we are looking at agriculture to be able to give subsidies to our farmers. And as assemblies, we are supporting the governors on this to ensure that there are certified seeds for our farmers, subsidized fertilizers, and that there are extension services are offered to our farmers so that we are able to cater for food security during this time of the pandemic.
Thank you.
On the area of education, obviously, then we need our children to go back to school. The economies are devastated. We require to add monies for bursaries so that we intervene for these families which will not be able to take children to school. Again, we need to provide money for food. There are families which will take their children to school, but they are not able to feed those children in school. When these children are not fed, they will not be able to stay in the schools. So as assemblies, we are ready to take care of that. And finally, maybe, on the issue of trade, small, medium, and micro enterprises, we are encouraging the executives. Let us put money here, because when we grow these small businesses, then we stabilize the families, and as a country during this pandemic, we are able to move on.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to Dr. Muya, the PS. And I thank you very much, Chair of County Assemblies Forum. For you, Bwana PS, we are seeking to understand, and while you away had given an introduction about how bad all the economic indicators are looking, and there is also a lot of fear around our dollar-denominated debt, especially seen as the shilling seems to be on a free fall against all major currencies. So I'd like you to talk a little bit to that, as you also tell us about how you intend to link the national government recovery plans to what we are launching today here as the county government strategies, so that we ensure that things are linked, and that the recovery process is also well synchronized. Yes, take us home. Yes, you can use that.
Thank you, moderator. All protocols observed. Thank you for those questions. And I'll start with the first issue, and that is dealing with the question about resources. So the first thing that I want to observe is the challenge that not just Kenya alone, but all economies in the world are facing in this time of the COVID pandemic. And even before the COVID pandemic set in, there were three issues that we observed in the fiscal and macroeconomic space. That one, there is increasing need for citizens to expect the public sector to provide more and more services. And that's not limited to Kenya. and that calls for more resources. Then secondly, the tax revenues that normally fund government operations as a percentage of GDP, not just in Kenya, have been declining. And the third one is that the resource envelopes that are normally available in terms of grants, in terms of concessional loans, again, are getting limited. And so I think that is the big question about planning at the national level now, where we are faced with that situation. But then now with the COVID, our revenues have been challenged even more. And for instance, we looked at our revenue shortfalls and also the expenditures that we had to incur in the year 2019-2020 to deal with COVID. And at the national level, the extra costs in terms of expenditure and the revenue shortfall was over 100 billion. Then at the counties, from the controller of budget, we see that the counties also had a shortfall of over 20 billion in that period. And so at the economy level, there is a challenge in terms of the revenues that we are collecting, but we are seeing some positive improvement lately. Now, to the question about the dollar and the exchange rate, it is obvious, and we all know that the dollar has strengthened. It is not so much that the Kenya shillings has weakened. It is the dollar that has strengthened, and also on account of the challenges that we experienced during the COVID time when the COVID started, of exports going down, then the inflows that we expected to come in were also limited. And so the recent recovery of exports that we are seeing, we expect that to support the Kenya shilling in terms of the exchange rate. But then again, we are also looking at increased inflows in terms of FDIs, foreign direct investments, as we continue to structure our public-private partnership structures so that we attract more resources in. And so just to conclude, in terms of the Kenya shilling, it's that it is the dollar that is very strong. It is not the shilling that is falling. Now, the issue about the recovery strategy that the counties are embarking on, I want to relate that to what the national government is doing. And you may remember that we had an economic recovery strategy that we are working on as government. We also had the stimulus economic package, which was looking to stimulate the economy at grassroots level, where we were committing 58 billion Kenya shillings to be spent on jobs creation and activities where there is a lot of labor, especially focusing on the youth, looking at education, looking at infrastructure, businesses, and so on and so forth. So for us in the national government, and also specifically as a national treasury, we are very aligned to what the counties are doing, and we are very supportive that we work together. And this engagement is one of those engagements that we are saying they are good initiatives. We're working together.
Great, great.
Thank you.
Great. Perhaps if we can just stay a little bit on that topic of syncing what the national government is doing and what the county governments are trying to do. If you could just delve a little bit, perhaps give us a sneak peek of what to expect in the next fiscal year in terms of, are we expecting another special package or another economic stimulus program, or what are the priorities, for instance, at the national government level in the next budget?
Thank you, moderator. Thank you, moderator. We are at the early stages of doing the 2021-2022 budget. And that process, according to the law and the practice, is preceded by our budget policy statement. So that is what we are busy doing. Now, the background is something that I painted earlier on, that we have a situation of a weaker revenue base. We have a situation where, in terms of concessional loans or grants, we don't see those numbers coming in big. And also, we don't have a lot of space for borrowing. And so this calls for a lot of granular looking at what we need to allocate our resources to in terms of being efficient, in terms of the utilization of resources, and in terms of also asking ourselves, what is priority? And so there's a lot of reason for us as a national government to work very closely together with the counties to identify that which we must do so that we leverage on the recovery that we are looking to achieve. And there are always opportunities in a catastrophe and a pandemic like we have now. So those are the points that I want us to work together so that we can leverage.
Good, thank you very much. It looks like I'm not succeeding with squeezing the sneak peek out of you, but I'll get back to you. Let's listen to Lady Governor Charity Ngilu. Governor, like you would be aware, the economic shocks post-COVID or during COVID economic shocks have really been felt by governors countrywide because governors are perceived as the closest government that Mwananchi knows. So I am sure you have a lot of people knocking your doors and asking, what is the plan? Can we get assisted in our businesses? And my question to you perhaps would be first to give us your experience over what are the needs on the ground, and also to give us your views on what interventions you think county governments can put into place, or what mechanisms county governments can put into place to be able to revive the various sectors that have been affected. First of all, what are the sectors that have been affected in your view, and what are your proposals of how the same can be revived? Governor.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency Deputy Governor Nyeri, and good morning, everyone. Obviously, as people who are close to the people, they're knocking on your door every single day with all manner of problems. And we know that most of those people who have been affected, the sectors affected, health sector, education sector, transport sector, hospitality sectors, and even forwarding, clearing and forwarding, textile and apparel sectors, other social sectors like faith-based organizations and sports. All these have been badly affected indeed, and we are with them at our homes every day. And when, according to FKE, gave us a report that over 1.7 million people have lost their jobs, all of them have come back to our counties, and we see them and their families who they have been supporting over the years. Therefore, we are dealing with this every single day. Of course, sometimes as counties are also having challenges that we do not get what we need to get from the national government on time so that we can attend to what we have promised people to do. But the ones that are badly affected, the health sector, people getting sick and now are even not wanting to go to our health facilities, and yet they will come to you and tell you that they are not well. I think that's one of the problems that we have been faced with. Looking at what we as county governments can do also to help the people recover. First and foremost, I feel that there is a sense of urgency for us to address the immediate problems that we are having, and that is joblessness, that people have lost their jobs. We need to put in place, as we put the policies, short-term, medium-term, and long-term. What do we need to do? County governments are playing very important and major roles in settling the people, in the sense that closer to the people, we see them, we know the opportunities, and we also know the potential, we know the challenges that we have. I have personally felt encouraged when I saw, and we got the national government come in with what they put together as quick support to young people, Kazi Mitaani. It was well done to support people, then young people. we can take over from there so that we can build their own skills. And looking at the opportunities and the potential that we have, we quite honestly and personally think what I've been able to do in Kitui is to look at the opportunities that we have. And the national government has come up with something that I find very, very useful. If any of us or the counties who are going to work on this is called the Preferential Procurement Master Roll number 1 of 2020. And it has 334 products that can be produced and manufactured locally. And looking again at again, the Big Four agenda of the president, if we want to produce all these products, in Kitui we have started producing at least 32 products. Let me tell you, if we were to produce this ourselves in this country, we will be saving the country money that will be going out for exports for imports to a tune of 500 billion shillings. And it's for this reason that I think we need to agree amongst ourselves that we need to reduce imports that are not necessary in this country. And this is what we are doing in Kitui. I can tell you that in Kitui we were able to start our garment production. We have been able to start our non-pharmaceutical products that we are making and selling, using them within our own county and selling them outside the county. And if personally I think we were to deal with the many, many imports that are not helping this country, we will create employment and we'll be able to retain, our own money and the jobs.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful insights coming from Governor Ngilu. And finally, last but not least, the representative of Senate here. One of the roles of Senate is to lobby for more resources to county governments. We'd be keen to hear, under the prevailing circumstances, what is Senate looking at as priority areas to lobby for funds or for additional funds to come to national government? Perhaps how that is going along. Have you considered it? If not, why?
All right. Thank you so much, and thank you, Madam Moderator. I'm privileged to be here today, and I think the backdrop of it is the fact that we had the ad hoc committee on COVID that was tasked to oversight what government was doing during this time. So I think it's from that backdrop that I have the honor of having this platform. So if you'll allow me just also to put up to speed those who are here who we didn't get to interact with, it's good for them to understand that the ad hoc committee was formed the 31st of March this year, and we had a series of interventions, government and stakeholders, over 100 meetings. Actually, we sat 100 meetings looking at 5 thematic areas ranging from health, social and public order. I'll refer a bit to my notes so that at least I can move faster because I can see time. So we looked into health issues, economic and finance issues, which are today's topic, looking at macroeconomic effects, the impact of business, trade facilitation measures to cushion borrowers and financial institutions. We had large engagements with the entire sector, from the ministry to banks, private sector, SMEs, Juakali, all those. We had interactions with them, and we could see from an early stage, including the Council of Governors, of course, and the County Assemblies Forum. And from an early stage of the pandemic, we could see we had a serious financial issue that was coming about. So one of our first interventions, of course, was to look at a legislative framework that should help the country now and in future. God forbid we should be ever in another situation of a pandemic like this one. And that pandemic and response bill was done in record time with over 160 submissions from stakeholders. It was a very comprehensive bill that we passed at Senate when we were finally able to sit again. And it is now at National Assembly, I think caught between the tussle of National Assembly and Senate. But we hope that bill can see the light of day because it encompassed a lot of the economic issues and how the government would then cushion Kenyans in future, because we could see, of course, that gap coming in. Now, one of the things that I have to highlight, some of our observations when we went round as a committee, is the need to support local innovations. Like what Governor Charity Ngilu has talked about, we realized that there's serious need to support local innovations. We did go to Mombasa at the time we were doing when we were doing our rounds, and we found that I think Mombasa had come up with some innovations when it came to fighting the pandemic to handle the crossing at the ferry. But they didn't get much support from national government on that front. And we said, no, it's good to celebrate local innovations. In fact, we should be pushing more funds towards research and development within our counties so that we can enhance our own local solutions to the problems that we were encountering. Of course, there was the importance of telemedicine. We saw it in some of the counties we visited. We celebrated the counties that we saw telemedicine being used at a time like this, at a time when a lot of our hospitals have capacity challenges. Telemedicine will come into place because then you can communicate with doctors who are not necessarily present, and you can actually provide the service. We noted that, actually. Then, of course, the significant role of the private sector. So some of the other interventions then we came with as financial oversight. We did talk about, should I hold? Should we stand? So in recovery, because I want to go a bit faster, in recovering of the economy, Senate advocated for stimulus funds. We really pushed for this for the SMEs, the women and the youth enterprises, because they were most affected. These are the people who employ most Kenyans, including the Jua Kali sector. We had large engagements with Jua Kali sector. And by the time of our sixth progress report that we tabled, we had not seen, that was early September, we had not seen significant help going to the Jua Kali sector, especially in an impactful way, considering the proportion of Kenyans that they employ in the non-formal sector. So Senate also strongly and successfully advocated for the increased allocation of funds, as you remember when we were pushing for the allocation of revenue sharing formula. You remember when that was going on. Now, some of the legislative interventions we are looking at is to allow counties to undertake PPP projects, that's private-public projects, to spur growth and enable the private sector to play a more critical role. So you find a scenario where the county governments then give the enabling environment and allow the private sector also to play a more significant role. Being a larger employer of Kenyans would be a good way to spur growth back again. And then we improve ease of doing business. Ease of doing business. I think that is a conversation that must continually happen by mainstreaming processes and addressing, double taxation in certain areas. We came across this as we were going around the counties, a lot of that. And of course, to enhance revenue allocation within the county governments. I know time is tough, but in the healthcare system, we did raise a lot of concerns with our healthcare systems, because even at a time like now, and when county governments had been given some support, we still didn't see a big impact on the healthcare system. And you can't talk about spurring an economy if the healthcare system is still not as strong as it should be. Kenyans need to be healthy, and these are issues that we have to continually keep talking about. As we celebrate the universal health coverage, a lot more still needs to be done. So again, Senate has been supportive of all those innovative ventures that would help, the Ministry of Health as well as the county governments to strengthen the infrastructure of the healthcare system. Then, in recovering devolution, I have to talk about this. I understand. But let me pause by just saying the issue of accountability came out very strong as we were doing our work in the committee. And we are really pushing for more accountability. I think we can't talk about spurring our economy if we can't be open and, truthful with accountability of public funds. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator. Sorry to cut you short. We are running a little bit out of time. And I'd like to take final thoughts. First, let me take this chance to welcome our Deputy President and our Chair of Council of Governors, and as well the CS Devolution Senate Speaker, and the other guests who have joined us. We have just been discussing this morning about various arms of devolution and the devolution family and what they all need to be doing to spur or reinvigorate this economy. So I'll take final thoughts from all of us in just a quick 1 minute, and I can see the... Okay, all right, so just 1 minute final thoughts. We'll start from you, Bwana Chairman.
All right, thank you very much, Deputy Governor and Moderator, Your Excellency the Deputy President, and the Chair of Council of Governors. Thank you very much for allowing me that. For me, really, and my thoughts would be how probably the national government and the county government can harmonize policies in terms of making sure that trade policies are conducive to business environment. We would also want to see how do we harmonize issues of cross-border, how do we promote dialogue between the private sector and the Council of Governors and also the national government. And also I'd just like to support what the Her Excellency, the Governor Ngilu, has alluded to in terms of promoting local production. Yes, we are seeing, for example, Ministry of Health making sure they support local production of reusable masks. We have seen Ministry of Education promoting local production of desks. We have seen also some of the counties like Kipia promoting local production of automobile. And how can we then be able to support these innovations? How can we be able to support these technology? And also just supporting what the Senate has said, supporting telemedicine by making sure that radiology and through e-health can be able to support our doctors, can be able to support the patients to communicate with the doctors and to communicate with pharmaceutical companies or distributors. How we can be able to support them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chair. Final thoughts from Governor Ngilu.
Thank you so much. Finally, just once again, I truly believe that we as a country have everything that others have. With the problems that there are, we can pull out of this one. But we have got to, first of all, get out of the mindset that we are not capable of doing so. We need to look again as the opportunity of our youth, build skills in them, and ensure that they can actually be able to produce, and we counties and the national government buy what is being produced locally. Buy Kenya, build Kenya, buy Kenya.
Wonderful.
We are importing just too much.
Okay.
And then finally, I would like us to look at the cost of power in this country, because it is also making our products be a little bit too expensive compared to what is coming from outside the country.
The cost of production. Thank you very much. To conclude, I think I want to give Chair of the County Assemblies Forum to just make his 1 minute concluding
Thank
remarks.
you very much. Thank you, Your Excellency, the Deputy President. So for us, is that we think it is very important as county assemblies so that we are able to move together with the governors, that we have this, especially at this time of recovery from COVID, that we get these quarterly reports on financial and non-financial reporting, on local revenue receivers reports, so that we are able to share the same vision as we are able to fight this pandemic. Finally, and most importantly, is that we are doing very good budgets. We are also doing very good blueprints and white papers. But implementation is a very, very serious issue. We need to free the procurement regime and ensure departmental implementation of the budget. And that is the only way our people will be able to see good results.
Thank you very much. Good insights right there. Let this not just be a talk shop. Let this not just be another beautiful paper written in beautiful English. And just to recap the points from various speakers, from the chair, you could see there's a lot of work going on in terms of partnerships to benefit the SME sector. He spoke a little bit about market development and what the chamber is doing on training, and also urged us to think about more into local manufacturing. From the County Assemblies Forum, they have given us their priority areas and areas that we will see them putting in more money going forward. Health sector came first, agriculture sector also ranked second, water and sanitation, and finally the issue of education. It was interesting to hear the County Assemblies Forum saying that it's important to also audit how far we are with the pandemic, and in terms of how far the ramifications have been on the local economies, so that they are able to plan adequately going forward. From the National Treasury, interesting remarks right there when he said the shilling is not weakening, it is the dollar that is strengthening. Now, it's a little bit of a chicken and egg story right there, but I think we'll take it offline. Interesting remarks coming from the National Treasury saying, talking about the shortfall in terms of revenue and talking about the economic stimulus program. He was very guarded about what to expect in the next fiscal year in terms of the priority areas, but we want to imagine that those priority areas will be aligned with the county government's priority areas. Governor Ngilu, extremely passionate about local manufacturing, saying this is the direction that we need to go as a country to be able to rebuild and reinvigorate this economy, reduce the imports. Governor Ngilu says have a plan, short-term, medium, and long-term on the unemployment that we are all facing. Prioritize the health sector. Governor Ngilu says, let us also work on changing our mindset. The Senate's key priority areas are also aligned to county government. Key priority areas, which is health, they have told us what they're doing in terms of developing legislative framework, especially that of the PPP. There's a joke that is told around about the connotation of PPP, and they say that PPP stands for Perpetually Pending Project. So we hope that there will be legislation to be able to, so that it just doesn't become, it's something we've talked about for a very long time, as that it actually will stand for public-private partnerships. The impact on the health sector, according to Senate, has been able to be looked at. So ladies and gentlemen, I am really, my boss is right there telling me, you really have to conclude this. But as I conclude, let me say this. When you go through uncertain times and uncertain times like we are right now, usually there is, you have three options.
We really have to stop.
There are three options. The first option, this is the last thing I'm going to say. The first option that we have is to give up. The second option is to give in. The third option is to give it all it takes. And based on today's conversation, this morning's conversation, you can tell that...
Thank you, DG, and the panelists. I'm sorry, I do have to cut you short so that, tafadhali, let us appreciate this wonderful, wonderful panel. We gave them an incredibly difficult task to do in no time at all. Asanteni sana sana. Thank you, and I really apologize for rushing you. Your Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic, Your Excellency Governors, ladies and gentlemen, please let us appreciate our panelists once more. And as we do so, allow me to invite the next set of speakers to the stage, please. And I think that our staff, if you have sanitizers, please, can you assist us at the front here? So allow me to invite the resident representative of the UNDP to the stage, Mr. Walid Bawadi. Karibu sana. Allow me also to invite the Deputy High Commissioner, the British Deputy High Commissioner, Mr. Julius Scott, to the stage. Also, allow me to invite Professor Anyang' Nyong'o, His Excellency Governor of Kisumu. Allow me also then to invite, if they could sit, tafadhali, in the order of that they shall speak, in the order that I'm calling you to the stage. Let me invite the CS for devolution, the Honorable Eugene Wamalwa, as well as the Speaker of the Senate, the Honorable Kenneth Lusaka. So first up is the UN resident representative. You can speak either sitting or at the podium here. Karibu Warid Bawadi. Welcome.
Governor Murithi, Your Excellency, Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable William Ruto, Honorable Governor Oparanya, the Chair of the Council of Governors, the Speaker of the Senate, Mr. Kenneth Lusaka, governors here present with us, Honorable Eugene Wamalwa, CS Devolution, and ASAL. PS is present. The development partners that are here today, High Commissioners and Ambassadors, and other development partners. Ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. Let me say that it is really with profound solidarity and a strong sense of partnership that I stand before you on behalf of the UN system in Kenya ahead of today's launch of the County COVID-19 Socioeconomic Re-Engineering and Recovery Strategy. I also speak partially today on behalf of the Devolution Donor Group, as UNDP is co-chair. The United Kingdom, who will be also speaking, is the chair. And the Devolution Donor Group not only coordinates its devolution support across all counties, its members have supported the Council of Governors since its inception and look forward to a strong and continued partnership. The UN system in Kenya's partnership with the Council of Governors began at inception and continues strong to this day. I do wish to take this opportunity to congratulate the COG on today's groundbreaking ceremony for their new headquarters. It will serve as a more than an office building, but also a symbol of devolution strength and service to the people of Kenya. Indeed, an iconic venue. Ladies and gentlemen, today the world faces an unprecedented threat from COVID-19. For the first time since measurement began, UNDP's Human Development Index is on a course to decline in 2020. The impact of COVID-19 will reverberate across the Sustainable Development Goals and reverse hard-won developmental gains. Addressing these losses means recovery from COVID-19 must take a different path from the previous global development trajectory. The pandemic has made our pledge to leave no one behind and to reach those furthest behind first much more difficult to achieve. Together, nonetheless, we have a chance to turn one of the greatest reversals of human development of our lifetime into a historic leap forward to a sustainable, inclusive, peaceful, and resilient future with the Sustainable Development Goals as our compass. With up to 100 million more people being pushed into extreme poverty in 2020, 1.4 billion children affected by school closures, overwhelmed health and social services, and record level unemployment and loss of livelihoods, especially among women who constitute over 70% of low-wage earners, it is clear that choices made today could be the tipping point that transform our societies and our planet for the better. On the global level, and indeed here in Kenya, the UN system is supporting governments in the response to the pandemic, and we mobilized early to comprehensively save lives, control the spread of the virus, and ease the economic fallout. The UN has led on the health response, provided life-saving humanitarian assistance, psychosocial and economic support to the most vulnerable, established instruments for rapid responses to the socioeconomic impact, provided evidence-based and sex-disaggregated data, and laid out a broad policy agenda. As we are learning, collaboration is vital to battle a virus that affects all humanity indiscriminately. Although time is never on our side, in a swiftly moving pandemic, UN agencies and humanitarian partners have since the onset worked with the government of Kenya to take quick action to support communities in responding to the virus. The courage and sacrifice of the frontline workers, including doctors, nurses, midwives, police officers, and indeed volunteers across sectors, as they continue supporting those most vulnerable, is an inspiration to all of us. And tomorrow, as we celebrate International Volunteer Day, I do trust that we will take a moment to celebrate all of those heroes. There is no choice between addressing the health impact and the socioeconomic fallout from the pandemic. Unless we control the spread of the virus, the economy will never recover. The crisis requires each one of us to focus on the people, particularly the low-wage workers, small and medium enterprises, and the most vulnerable and marginalized, including women, youth, children, elderly, and those with disabilities, as again on the 3rd of December, we commemorate International Day of Disability. So together we must cushion the impact on people's lives, their livelihoods, and the economy by considering a scale-up of social protection initiatives and supporting SMEs to prevent bankruptcies and job losses, especially amongst the most vulnerable. The UN and its partners, in close collaboration with the government of Kenya, have developed the UN in Kenya COVID-19 Socioeconomic Response Plan, and we have provided technical and financial support towards the government of Kenya's economic recovery strategy, and we heard about that strategy this morning. But we also provided support to the county COVID-19 socioeconomic re-engineering and recovery strategy. We are encouraged that these strategies provide an inclusive and urgent socioeconomic response based on some common themes which emphasize protecting health services and systems, scaling up social protection and basic services, protecting jobs and supporting SMEs and the most vulnerable productive sectors of society, enhancing social cohesion and community resilience. But importantly, all of these strategies and these recovery efforts are greener, are bluer, and certainly not browner. And they do embrace innovation and technology as critical enablers for building forward better. So the launch of the County COVID-19 Socioeconomic Re-Engineering and Recovery Strategy signifies a step in the right direction in coordinating all of our efforts and contributions in dealing with the crisis and preventing its escalation and ensuring that Kenya does build forward better and leaving no one behind. Ladies and gentlemen, drawing on lessons learned in an ever-changing environment that requires a contextualized and flexible approach, we are confident that the County COVID-19 recovery strategy will support Kenya's response in addressing the negative impacts on the country from this pandemic. In line with the UN Secretary General's call on my organization, UNDP, as the technical lead on the COVID-19 socioeconomic response and recovery, we will continue to work closely under the leadership of the UN Resident Coordinator and together with the UN country team in responding to the requests to implement these strategies as and when the government of Kenya demands of us. I want to thank our development partners who have swiftly responded to our call for an effective engagement through flexible financing to support this national response. And here I want to thank the governments of Sweden, Finland, and Italy who have supported the UN Joint Devolution Program together with our sister agencies, UNICEF and UN Women, but also the government of Japan, who has provided critical support. So on behalf of the UN family in Kenya, let me reaffirm our commitment to this fight. We will win this war together, and I thank you all for your attention. Asanteni.
Thank you very much indeed. UN resident representative. May I invite, you can speak either from your seat or at the podium as you choose, the Deputy High Commissioner from Britain, Julius Court. Karibuni. May I also request Governor Kifudha Kibwana, who will do the appreciation, to also join the team on stage. Asanteni. Please, we must try and restrict ourselves to about 4 minutes for the obvious reasons. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Governor, and Your Excellency, Deputy President, Your Excellency, Governor Obranga, the Chair of the Council of Governors, Your Excellency, the Senate Speaker, all the other CSs, all the other governors, deputy governors, all the PSs, fellow colleagues from the international community, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. Kwanza nataka kusema hongera. Nataka kusema asante. And I want to say congratulations because although this country has been faced with an immense challenge with COVID, I think we've seen such a robust response. We've seen an incredibly robust health response. I think as PS Muya was outlining, we've seen a really impressive economic response, you know, given a very, very tough challenge. And I think we've seen a very impressive COVID responses, a social response to COVID. So whether it's from churches, community groups, yourselves leading your communities, it's been deeply impressive. And I think from the international community and to each and every one of you and all the people you represent, congratulations again. I wanted to say thank you because we're partners in this endeavor with you. And I want to thank you for that partnership, again, on behalf of the UK, but also on behalf of the international community. We have seen a level of partnership, I think, sort of unseen. When the challenge has come, we have also, I think, together risen to that challenge. And I want to reassure you on behalf of the UK that we will continue to stand with you at this challenging time. And I know all my other colleagues in the international community feel exactly that same way. Whether it's in central government, the response, our partnership there, whether it's with the counties, and whether it's with all the other partners, with the private sector and the groups. It's only together and in that spirit of partnership that we will make progress against COVID. So colleagues, let's not pretend that we're at the end of this. We're not. There's a lot of work to do on the prevention side. There's a lot of work to do on the response. But that spirit of partnership will take us a long way to an effective response. As a co-chair of the donor group on devolution, I do want to say something about devolution. One of the privileges of my job is that I get to travel around this great country. And wherever you go, you see the response that's come because of devolution. You see the progress that's been made. And we celebrate that. And I think that one of the great things about devolution and events like this, you can also learn so much from each other. We're all struggling with the same challenges. And every county I go to is making progress, but it's also learning from its neighbors and from its colleagues. So that's a terrific thing. And again, you will not find a stronger partner, you will not find a stronger supporter of devolution than the UK. And again, I know colleagues in the group feel exactly the same way. Colleagues, perhaps the most important thing I want to say is about the spirit with which I see around this country and the spirit which I think is embodying the work today. We're very proud partners in preparing and launching the strategy, but it's the spirit of delivery that really enthuses me and that I think we should really focus on. When you go around this country, you can't help but be stunned by that spirit of entrepreneurship, the can-do attitude, And I just want to give a few examples of that. So last month, I was privileged to be up in Isiolo, and we were launching an innovation hub. We weren't standing back because of the crisis. We weren't waiting. We did it very carefully, but we launched the innovation hub with the UNDP, with the governor there. In your county, Governor, in Laikipia. I spent a lot of time talking to teachers and visiting schools and seeing how they were preparing so that the children can go back. There's no more important thing than our children's education. So it's really important to see these examples of where people are responding with that can-do spirit to get ready to keep going, even though the time is challenging. I was very privileged to be in Kisumu a couple of days ago, and the governor and I were looking at the economic issues there. We were looking about how it responds to gender-based violence, and really interestingly about visiting the Lake Hub. Again, the future, the innovation in this country, those young people harnessing their ideas in the response. Very, very impressive. And then finally, I can't forget, C.S. Wamalwa and I were in Kisii together with the governor there, launching the plan for Kisii's urban renewal. Again, not waiting, not holding back, doing it safely, but getting on with helping the country and the counties to build back stronger. So I think it's that spirit of mindset, it's that spirit of entrepreneurship, it's that spirit of drive. It's all those kinds of things that will help us get through this crisis and help Kenya to build back stronger. Asanteni sana.
Thank you very much, Deputy High Commissioner of the UK to Kenya, Asante Sana. I want to invite to the podium, I don't know if you have the sanitizer, Professor of Political Economy, Governor of Kisumu, Professor Anyang' Nyong'o. We will allow him maybe 1.5 extra minutes because he will explain to us the content of the recovery strategies for each of the counties. Karibu sana, Governor Anyang' Nyong'o.
Thank you very much, Neritu. Your Excellency, the Deputy President, Dr. William Somei Ruto, Your Excellency, Umwami Eugene Wamalwa, Minister for Devolution and Industrial Areas, and Your Excellency Wycliffe Oparanya, our Chairman of the Council of Governors, all protocols observed. Ladies and gentlemen, before I give this very brief summary of what the economic recovery strategies are for the counties, I'd like to thank very much my colleague, Neritu Muridhi, and Professor Kivuta Kebwana, with whom we worked very closely with the Secretariat of the Council and KIPRA to make this project possible. The outbreak of COVID-19 is an eye-opener on our levels of preparedness for pandemics and calamities that may threaten the existence of our society. If county, I think this movement signifies something.
It does, unfortunately, but I would suggest that Professor Anyang' continues. The party that has gone to will receive the head of state, and as you conclude, he will proceed to the presentation. I would suggest to Professor.
If county borders and restricted movement of goods and persons all over the world were to remain in place for much longer, one important question each county would ask is for how long each society would survive. Thus, exploiting opportunities for enhanced self-reliance becomes essential for survival of societies. This study, undertaken by the COG with technical input by KIPRA and the support of our development partners, the Development Support Group, the Devolution Support Group, represented here by my friend Julius and Walid, has taken into account the tremendous effects of COVID-19 on our economy and society. We have noted the opportunities that emerged for innovation in the various sectors of our economy, challenging us in government to encourage and support the innovators from now on. This could as well be the foundation for building a more resilient society and economy capable of better withstanding such pandemics in the future. With COVID-19, we have seen the importance of having one, a well-functioning healthcare system to serve the population. Two, a proper functioning medical research to develop vaccines. Three, good planning of our cities, transport systems, education system, and housing to offer services in the midst of the pandemic, notwithstanding the threat of being left alone with the closure of international transport highways. Four, we have also seen the importance of a good government system for continued provision of public service in difficult times, proper utilization of resources for longevity of our societies, and socioeconomic equality in securing livelihood. The pandemic therefore highlights the need, one, to promote innovations and adopt modern technologies in the path to enhancing self-reliance. Our young population showcased their capabilities with innovations to help in responding to the pandemic. It takes our commitment as government to nurture innovations by re-energizing our institutions of technical training, science, technology, and engineering to maintain the momentum for innovation to the level of being commercialized. Further, this also presents an opportunity for our research and policy institutions to relook at the kind of innovation model the county and counties require in economic transformation. Studies on economic recovery strategies have shown that counties are vital for the growth of the nation as frontiers for investments. Deliberate investments should be focused in the areas of food production, targeting the weak and vulnerable smallholder actors in the value chain battered by the effects of coronavirus, whose capacities must be developed and strengthened. The county COVID-19 Re-Engineering and Recovery Strategy provides the following opportunities for the citizens of our various county governments in different sectors. One, in health. Proactivity addressing the mental health needs, including those of the health workforce. Two, legislating and equipping community health workers and community health volunteers to adequately provide community health and counseling and appropriate maternal. It's not possible. Yeah.
I think we let him arrive,
Yeah.
and then
We conclude.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, that's perhaps is more interesting to you than me, so we'll have a health break.
Thank you. Thank you. Let me hand over to Deputy Director of State Functions.
We will conclude when he comes.
Niombe sote tusimame tafadhali kwa wimbo wa taifa. Tumpongeze Mheshimiwa Rais kwa makofi anapojiunga nasi, na ataelekezwa sasa katika alama na alwani ambazo ziko tayari kwa ajili ya mjengo huu wa leo.
Is the CEO?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
He will just
So this is the impression of the building, sir. This will be the G47 Katusi Towers, and it will have offices for all the large offices for the county governments and independent commissions. Yeah, just in of the office. You'll see, and there's a very special club at the end there, sir, which you might like to frequent. It will be at the 50th floor.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
I'm a bedroom.
Is it connived? It's a hotel. It's a 5-star hotel, sir.
Oh.
Yes. From the 30th floor, upwards is a hotel.
Oh.
And we will be selling the spaces, sir, the residences there. Yes. Yeah. Now the model, oh yeah. See part of them. What we call a Jew. This is a Jew. It's a of Sabato Community. And yeah, the gym is there. The executive club for my governors, and presidents. And sir, you can change the name. Executive order. Now, here, Your Excellency, we have now the entire model. That is a library we are dedicating to you, sir, by the governors, because that will be the Ukatuzi Tower and Uhuru Kenyatta Devolution Museum.
Yes.
Now, sir, a small presentation. And see.
This is going to be the tallest building in Africa.
Yes, it will be 50 stories.
Floors.
Yeah.
50 floors.
And we are.
Yeah, 50 floors.
So if you allow me, sir,
yeah,
I can take you through my presentation here. Tower, it will house the Council of Governors and all these institutions which are working with the we are actually calling it the devolution family. Yeah. We are providing a Senate liaison office, the Ministry of Devolution and national offices.
So even the ministry will
yes, will be here.
Yeah?
Yes, 4 floors. The National Treasury liaison office, KRA liaison office, regional economic blocks, the forums for the boards, independent commissions. All these people are going to be here, Your Excellency.
Yeah.
And then, so the other space now will be accommodating the visitors who come to this place. Okay, sir. Next. Now, we are providing all this, and as we said, we want to make it in a building. Sir. So, yes, sir. It is possible.
Yeah.
And we're doing it as your pension funds for the county government. Yes. We are following local examples. Your inspirations are Kawi House in South Sea for energy sector. So they have also gathered together. Barabara House for the roads agencies and the Ministry of Public Works and Infrastructure. They are also there. So this will be devolution headquarters. Now, examples of models of this nature, sir, is investments which the national government, the government of Tanzania are using. They have done, they are using pension funds to directly invest in infrastructure for the government. Like, for example, the 680. Yeah. Chairman, Your Excellency, we can do it for you because we'll show you examples. The University of Dodoma, which is a 50,000 students university, has been built by a consortium of pension schemes. The same parliament buildings in Dodoma, the same. And then in South Africa, the 7th largest pension fund in the world is the GBF. It's also built a airport in Indonesia. And the same, yeah, you can see that this is an impression. This is built by the pension fund in Tanzania, NSSF. This is a university. It was built in a very short time. It's a parliament in Tanzania. And then followed by, this is the airports and ports are built by pension funds across the world. Yeah. This is Singapore. Our equivalent scheme county.
The housing of Singapore, I went to
yes, yeah. So, you have found the right partner, sir. So this is the lab, which was originally started in 1920s as an Nairobi Municipality Fund. Now this fund has a very special significance to you, sir. And I want you to look at the gift we're giving you in memory of your father. He used to work with the city council. So our board, sir, has honored your family for that. There was an injustice to your family because your dad was not given the pension from this scheme. So we acknowledge that historical injustice by giving you that. So this is our lab trust. We will talk. We will talk, sir. We will talk. So this is our pension fund. We have this number of employees. That's 3 billion. These are our members. No, this is only for lab trust.
Oh, okay.
Then we have the county pension fund. That is how it is, over 54,000. But sir, the unfortunate thing is not all the employees. No, sir. This is from 2011. Because, sir, not all the employees of the government or the counties are in the schemes.
Why?
There's a delay. No, it's a confusion, sir. I think you should be. Yeah. So I think actually we are requesting, sir, that. Actually, we are requesting, sir, that you enforce that these members of the county government employees should join the scheme.
Now your turn.
Next. Now that is your memory. We are apologizing for that. Now we want to show you the proposed investment, sir, as one of our portfolios. So this will be our investment. And we sell every space here to the counties, as well as the national government, as well as independent commissions. Then we will only assist in managing it. Now, we have some nice homes. We have developed one in we are selling them now, sir. The next one, we done this one in Langata. It's our capability, sir, can deliver. This one we have done a school in Elred. It is Nova Bionia is a school from South Africa. So they have leased the property from us. Yes. And then we have our pension towers, which is in Baker Street. This is our headquarters, sir. And then this is our parking. One of the oldest parking in town. We call it Metro Park. So what are we requesting you, sir? Only 2 items. That we are asking that, and I'm the president of Association of Trustees in Kenya. We are requesting that you do what Tanzania and other countries have done to act us to form a consortium and make investment to assist the government have infrastructure like it's done. Thank you, sir. Yeah, Pili, we are asking that allow for the necessary to enforce compliance on remittance of pension contribution directly.
That's what I'm asking.
With your turn.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Yeah? So applying to all, making it mandatory.
Yes.
And if the teachers forget it, why can
Sorry.
Why can they
Nilikuwa na baby hii. I don't know whether I'm allowed to give him. We really appreciate your excellency. Sasa hiyo. Unaona. Oh yeah, wende Michelle. Yeah. This is part of them. Yeah. Part of this, yeah. Yeah.
Orofa yetu ya G47 ugatuzi. Yule anayefanya jukumu hilo aingie kwenye nafasi yake ili tuweze kufanya the ground breaking. Ni uzinduzi rasmi, ukipenda the ground breaking of the G47 ugatuzi tower. Mdadisi wangu ananiambia kwamba it will be the tallest building in Kenya and maybe in Africa also. Tuwapongeze kwa makofi the Council of Governors a member. Kazi nzuri wanayofanya siku ya leo, Mheshimiwa Rais akiwa shahidi kwamba tumezindua rasmi jumba hili la ugatuzi tower. Asante, asante sana Mheshimiwa Rais. It is the official groundbreaking for the G47 Ugatuzi Tower, performed by His Excellency the President, Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta, President of the Republic of Kenya and the Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces. Asante, asante sana. Roli sasa inaweza ondoka. Asante sana. Tusimame sote tafadhali walioko kwenye jukwaa rasmi ili tuweze kumkaribisha mgeni rasmi. Nitaomba Gavana wa Nyeri ataelekezwa mahali ambapo ataongoza maombi. Gavana tafadhali. Tumkaribishe kwa makofi Mheshimiwa Rais anapojiunga nasi. Tafadhali mabibi na mabwana, karibu sana Mheshimiwa Rais, tuongoze katika sehemu yetu ya pili. Amekwisha maliza sehemu ya kwanza, the ground breaking ceremony of the G47 Ugatuzi Tower. And now we are entering to our next session, which is the official launch of the county COVID-19 socio-economic re-engineering and recovery strategy. Karibu. Nitaomba sote kwa heshima na ruhusa Mheshimiwa Rais tuweze kutoa kofia zetu ili tuongozwe kwa maombi mafupi na gavana wa jimbo la Nyeri. Tunaomba.
Asante sana, tuombe. Almighty and everlasting God, we are humbled to come before thee this morning to seek your face and bless your favor. Dear Lord, we lay before you the Republic of Kenya, our beloved motherland, a country that today is ravaged by COVID-19, oh Lord. We pray, dear Master, that you shall intervene like you did many a time when you walked this earth. When you did walk, you healed the sick, you raised the dead, and beyond everything else, you gave hope. We pray that this day, as we commit ourselves and this nation unto you, O Lord, you will remember to walk the journey with us. We commit the leadership of this nation led by our Excellency Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, his deputy, and all of us that are gathered in this place, O Lord. Continue to hold us by your right hand. Give us your knowledge, wisdom, and courage to be able to lead this nation, my Father, along the path of righteousness, dear Lord, to the honor and glory of your name. Master, we are gathered here today to do a special duty, O Lord, to come and launch the G47 Tower, O Lord, for which we dedicate unto you, O Lord. As we begin this day today, Lord God Almighty, we pray that you walk with us at every step. You give this Council of Governors a stone to remember, like you did give to Moses, dear Lord, and we shall continue to say, you are Emmanuel and you have walked with us. We invite you to begin this meeting with us, O Lord. Guide us in every way. And once we come to the end, we'll be very, very careful to thank you. We bless you and we glorify you. For in Jesus' name we pray.
Kwa ruhusa yako Mheshimiwa Rais, naomba tuketi. Mheshimiwa Uhuru Kenyatta, Rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya na Amiri Jeshi Mkuu wa Majeshi ya Ulinzi, Mheshimiwa Naibu wa Rais Daktari William Ruto, nikishatambua itifaki zote na kuziheshimu. Mheshimiwa Rais, nikubalia nimwalike waziri wetu wa ugatuzi na sehemu tambarare na kavu, Mheshimiwa Eugene Wamalwa, atuongoze kwa kipindi kinachosalia. Karibu waziri.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Your Excellency, the Deputy President, Excellencies, Governors present, our development partners, ladies and gentlemen, we're very, very happy to be here today. First of all, to witness the groundbreaking of an iconic building that is going to be the tallest building, not just in Kenya, not just in East Africa, but in Africa, Hongera. For us as the Devolution family, Your Excellency, we are very, very delighted that you could find time to be with us here today. And it's a great day for devolution. This building, we want to thank CPF, we want to thank Lab Trust, Bwana Kili, I don't know where he is. This is the CEO, Your Excellency, the chair, Lab Trust, we had our chair, and the members, the trustees. We want to thank you and to congratulate you and to thank COG for the consultations that have taken place to make this day a possibility. Indeed, we've had challenges as the devolution family scattered all over the country in enforcing what Article 6 puts in place, that the two levels of government shall work together in consultation, in cooperation, in collaboration. I believe with one roof for the devolution family being laid today, we will be able to come closer, to consult even more closely, to cooperate and to collaborate more closely. We know that the COG has been housed in Westlands due to regular meetings we've had, coming from my ministry office in CBD all the way to Westlands. Sometimes it takes about an hour, but we have been offered a building, actually a floor in this building, so my entire ministry will be joining you here also, so that we can work even more closely together. So I look forward to joining you here, and I want to also thank you, Your Excellency, for working closely with the governors. Today we are not just groundbreaking and laying the foundation stone for this building. We are also launching the recovery strategy. As you came in, His Excellency Governor Nyong'o was taking us through. Allow me, Your Excellency, to just adjust the program briefly. We are going to make it a very brief program so that we can invite him to just tell us exactly why we are here, what the recovery strategy is post-COVID, that the governors have come up with, working very closely with the national government. We also have that strategy. And our development partners, particularly the UN family, we want to thank Walid. We know that you have extended support to development of this strategy plan. We want to appreciate you, the UK government, we want to thank you, and the EU. We want to thank all of you for the support you have given us. Then after that, I will request Governor Nyong'o to now complete that, and we get the Chair COG, Governor Oparanya, to now tell us more about what we are doing here today before we get His Excellency, the Deputy President, to invite you, Your Excellency. But allow me, before we get Nyong'o and Governor Oparanya to come, to thank you for the support you have given to devolution. To also thank the planners of this building. In that plan, there is a museum on devolution. So we will not just be celebrating devolution today, we'll also be celebrating the history of devolution. And that museum is going to show the journey of devolution, where we started, where we are, and where we are going. And I believe when that history is written, Your Excellency, indeed Kenya and Africa is going to realize that the devolution journey started with you as the first president who oversaw the birth of devolution in this country, who has actually nurtured devolution in this country, and who is in the process, through the Building Bridges initiative, of strengthening devolution in this country, Your Excellency. That will be part of our history, that will be part of the museum. And I must thank Kili, the CEO. He has remembered your father, the late Jomo Kenyatta, was also a member, though he has confessed that they never paid him his dues. So we will be asking him in the course of these proceedings for him to present to you a pledge and a commitment that you will be receiving a check which will kindly request you to ensure it reaches Her Excellency Mama Ngina Kenyatta. So let me call Governor Nyong'o. Please come briefly. And Nyong'o, you will remember, he was one of the great brains behind the economic recovery strategy. As during the government, he did a great job, and he will be telling us what the governors are now planning to do going forward. Thank you. Karibu, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much, my friend Omwami Eugene Wamalwa, Minister for Devolution. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, all protocols observed. Your Excellency, just an aside, while you are going around there being shown what's happening in counties, Professor Kivutha Kibwana were backbiting you. And he said that he notices your wardrobe is full of very nice shirts. Can you introduce us to your tailor? Your Excellency, I want to thank my two colleagues, Governor Nderitu Murithi of Laikipia and Governor Kivutha Kibwana of Makueni, with whom we worked very hard with our staff and Kipra and our devolution, our partner group led by Lead and Julius here this morning to make possible this economic strategy, economic recovery strategy for counties post-COVID. The outbreak of COVID-19 is an eye-opener on our levels of preparedness for pandemics and calamities that may threaten the existence of our society. If county borders and restricted movement of goods and persons all over the world were to remain in place for much longer, one important question each country would ask is for how long each society would survive. Thus, exploiting opportunities for enhanced self-reliance becomes essential for survival of societies. This study, Your Excellency, undertaken by the Council of Governors, with technical input by Kipra and the support of our development partners, the Development Support Group, has taken into account the tremendous effects of COVID-19 on our economy and society. We have noted, Your Excellency, that the opportunities that emerged for innovation in the various sectors of our economy, challenging us in government to encourage and support the innovators from now on. This could as well be the foundation for building a more resilient society and economy capable of better withstanding such pandemics in the future. With COVID-19, Your Excellency, we have seen the importance of having the following. One, a well-functioning healthcare system to serve the population. Two, a proper functioning medical research to develop vaccines. Three, good planning of our cities, transport systems, education system, and housing to offer services in the midst of the pandemic, notwithstanding the threat of being left alone with the closure of international transport highways. And finally, we have also seen the importance of a good government system for continued provision of public service in difficult times, proper utilization of resources for longevity of our societies, and socio-economic equality in securing livelihood. The pandemic, Your Excellency, therefore highlights the need for the following. One, to promote innovations and adopt modern technologies in the path to enhancing self-reliance. Our young population showcased their capabilities with innovations to help in responding to the pandemic. Two, it takes our commitment as government to nurture innovations by re-energizing our institutions of technical training, science, technology, and engineering to maintain the momentum for innovation to the level of being commercialized. Three, this also presents an opportunity for our research and policy institutions to relook at the kind of innovation model the country and the counties require in economic transformation. Your Excellency, studies on economic recovery strategies in general have shown that counties are vital for the growth of the nation as frontiers for investments. Deliberate investment should be focused in the areas of food production, targeting the weak and vulnerable smallholder actors in the value chain, battered by the effects of coronavirus, whose capacities must be developed and strengthened. The county COVID-19 re-engineering and recovery strategy provides the following opportunities for the citizen of our various county governments in different sectors. In health, Your Excellency, one, proactivity addressing the mental health needs, including those of the health workforce. Two, legislating and equipping community health workers or volunteers and community health volunteers to adequately provide community health and counseling on appropriate maternal, infant, and young child nutrition practices amidst the pandemic. Three, ensuring that the health system as a whole is well-resourced to withstand not just pandemics, but the delivery of healthcare system in general. In education, Your Excellency, we note the following. One, to protect the poorest and most vulnerable learners and enable them to continue learning, such as through targeted, conditional, cash transfers, and learning vouchers. Your Excellency, there's a very interesting innovation in Busia County, where Busia, through their fish cage farming, has linked that farming to poor households whose children are paid for in school by the proceeds of fish cage farming. Two, strengthening collaboration between county and non-state, not-for-profit institutions, including faith-based organizations in delivery of pre-primary education across counties. In agriculture, Your Excellency, we have noted the following. Enhancing agro-processing and value addition capacities of counties by adopting appropriate regulations, policies, and legislations. Two, facilitating access to affordable formal finance and advisory and information services. And three, training and building capacity of farmers on modern agricultural technologies, including by integrating best practices and ensuring that extension service is properly resourced and institutionalized. In the area of social protection, Your Excellency, we noted the following. Supporting businesses' success credit guarantee program for people whose occupations or employments have been disrupted by the pandemic. 2, using the opportunity to continue efforts to review the more expansive and inclusive safety nets. And 3, ensuring effective access to essential health care and other basic social services for population groups and individuals who have been drawn into vulnerability due to the pandemic. Your Excellency, in the area of gender and youth, we noted the following: the need to strengthen inclusive community outreach strategies to ensure gender-based violence messaging is localized and clear, and addresses stigma, discrimination, and other power dynamics that serve as barriers to accessing gender-based violence services and COVID-19 information among differently able persons, otherwise called in local parlance, people with disabilities. And 2, designating gender-safe spaces to provide accommodation for gender-based violence survivors and create space in county referral hospital to serve as gender-based recovery centers. Gender-based violence recovery centers. Your Excellency, in the area of urban development and housing, as you saw today, the example of what the CPF partners in other countries do, we noted the need to promote a national home ownership policy. This would cushion households from future shocks that impede payment of rent. 2, fast-tracking affordable housing in counties through provision of public land to improve housing conditions and improving the turnaround period for transactions for land and construction. Your Excellency, let me also note here that although the National Housing Corporation was developed at a time that model of providing housing was most appropriate, I think we need to relook at the National Housing Corporation and how it is acting now as an impediment to urban renewal in counties. Your Excellency, urban development and housing is a very important issue, and as CPF demonstrates today, pension funds will play and have to play a critical role in transforming urban renewal in our country. Your Excellency, with regard to transport, we need to develop better synergies between car, bus, rail, non-motorized transport, and between public and private transport, and select the most environmentally friendly solutions. In this regard, Your Excellency, we need to control carbon gas emission by the otherwise very useful motorbikes in our cities. It has been demonstrated, Your Excellency, that one motorbike produces as much carbon gas emission as a 10-ton lorry. So just imagine how quickly our urban centers are going to be polluted if we don't improve on that and change the manner of power we use for propelling motorbikes. 2, use of labor-based and local resource-based approaches for road development and maintenance, since road construction has become a very expensive item in county budgets. Regarding tourism, Your Excellency, and this is my last point, faced with the lockdown of cross-border movements by air, land, or water, Kenyans have learned the value of domestic tourism. Counties are challenged to capitalize on this by investing in various products that can grow this sector. 2, diversing tourism products across all counties to include cultural, sports, agro-tourism, mines, nature-based, community-based, adventure, culinary, and beach-based tourism products, jetties and floating facilities, amusement parks, construction and development of public beaches. Your Excellency, the green space in urban areas is a very important element for encouraging tourism across our nation. And we are challenged to capitalize on this by investing in various products that can grow this sector. 2, diversifying tourism products in our nation and ensuring that these products are known to our people, as I mentioned. And 3, allocating resources for investment rehabilitation or tourism supporting infrastructure including sports stadia, and I thank Your Excellency for the interest you have taken in this. My county is a beneficiary of this, but do I say? Modern meetings, incentives, conferences and exhibitions, venues, and roads leading to the physical tourist attraction sites, including cultural heritage sites. Your Excellency, thank you so much for coming in time for my speech. I am really honored.
Makofi kwa Governor Nyong'o. Prof, thank you very much. Thank you very much for that wonderful presentation. And Your Excellency, as I said, the entire devolution family is here today. And when I talk about the devolution family, Your Excellency, it starts with you as the chair of the summit. You are really the father of devolution, having laid the foundation stone for devolution in this country. And the deputy president is a member of the family of our devolution as the chair IBEC. We are very happy to have him here. The speaker and as the Senate as the protectors of devolution are members of this family. We are very happy to have him here. Our county assemblies are very critical members of the devolution family. And we are very, very happy that we have the chair, CAF, around. If we could just, Tumutambue. Yes, he's over there. That's the chair, CAF. And IGRTC, Bwana Burugo, who is the acting chair, is here with us. And the entire team is here, Your Excellency. I think on their behalf, allow me to adjust the program just for a minute for the speaker to greet us on behalf of the other stakeholders. Speaker, karibu tafadhali.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Your Excellency, the Deputy President, Chair of Council of Governors, Honorable Malwa. Mine is just to say, Your Excellency, I stand here with a lot of nostalgia, having been one of the founding governors in this republic. What we are witnessing today were some of the thoughts that we had that time, and I'm happy, and even the economic bloc concept, I'm happy that those who took over from us, and I want to thank the chair and the entire governors who are here, that they have been able to progress this. I just want to encourage you that this is the way to go. We will continue supporting you as a Senate. Of course, our work is oversight, and I've tried to ensure that we carry out our oversight in an objective manner, having been a governor and this time reading from this other side. Your Excellency, thank you so much for honoring this function. Is one of the greatest functions, I think, in the devolution family. So you can count on us as Senate. We'll continue supporting you. With those few remarks, may God bless you.
Thank you very much, Speaker Lusaka. And now, Your Excellency, I want to bring the Chair COG. And as he comes, Your Excellency, I want to appreciate the leadership of Governor Oparanya. Indeed, during this crisis of coronavirus, we've come to realize the importance of intergovernmental relations. And indeed, when we are talking about intergovernmental relations, it is the glue that holds together the devolution family. It is the oxygen of devolution. And we have seen this working very well during this pandemic. And intergovernmental relations at an all-time best. We want to thank the leadership of Governor Oparanya. He just recently came from Dar es Salaam, Your Excellency. So don't be surprised when I introduce him differently as Dr. FCPA Wycliffe Ambetsa Oparanya. He has just completed his PhD in that. And I think he'll be joining Dr. William Ruto as and Your Excellency, I'm also trying very hard to complete my PhD. Don't be surprised to see Dr. Eugene Wamala also. Karibu, Your Excellency, Governor Oparanya.
Your Excellency, Uhuru Kenyatta, the President of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency Dr. William Ruto, Deputy President, fellow Excellency Governors present, Deputy Governors present, CS Eugene Wamalwa, Permanent Secretary present, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if it's now good morning. Before I deliver my brief speech, I want just to acknowledge some of the people who have come here. First, we could not accommodate all the governors. Most of the governors are attending this meeting virtually, but we have allowed in few to come because of the COVID protocols that we have. So let me just, first of all, acknowledge the former governors who are here. Dr. Kidero, I saw you around. Thank you for coming. Ambassador Dado, thank you for coming. Speaker of the Senate, Lusaka, the former governor. Now, deputy governors who are here. Can you stand? Those are the 4 deputy governors, and then the governors themselves. If you can stand. Those are the few ones who managed to come here and attend this meeting. The rest are attending this meeting virtually. We have apology from Governor Nyoro, the governor for Kiambu. He lost his brother. The burial is today, so he could not be with us. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Council of Governors, I take this opportunity to express our gratitude to His Excellency the President for gracing this occasion of groundbreaking ceremony of G47 Ukatusi Towers. The G is just for governments, 47 governments, and to launch the county COVID-19 socio-economic re-engineering and recovery strategy. Since devolution, it has been of county governments' activities under one roof. Today marks the beginning of the actualization to fulfill this desire by groundbreaking a magnificent devolution headquarters, which will have 50 floors to accommodate Council of Governors offices, county satellite offices, county assembly forum offices, and the Ministry of Devolution and its related state agencies, such as RTC, CRA, and Controller of Budget, among others. The central icon feature of this tower is the Devolution Museum, which, with your permission, Your Excellency, the governors has proposed to name it Uhuru Kenyatta Devolution Museum. This is to signify your commitment to devolution during your tenure as the President. Your Excellency, we humbly request for your involvement of your office in co-designing the museum to capture the devolution journey from the national to county perspective. In light of this, the Council of Governors proposes establishment of a joint coordination team involving the Council and the Office of the President. The Ukatusi Towers does not in any way promote movement of service from the grassroots, but rather it seeks to provide an opportunity for quick national consultation, vertically and horizontally. We allowed the County Pension Fund for partnering with the Council to finance this project. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, the county governments have also come up with the county COVID-19 social, economic, re-engineering and recovery strategy, and I think Professor Anyang Nyong has taken us through, that will support the economies of counties to bounce back from impact of the COVID-19. The strategy encompasses 5 pillars. 1, boosting private sector. 2nd, enhancing ICT. 3rd, human resource development. 4th, policy and legislative reforms. And lastly, disaster preparedness. The strategy will be implemented in 3 consecutive financial years, ending with 2022-2023. Cumulatively, the strategy will require a total budget of 132 billion Kenya shillings towards the recovery of county government economies. Part of the financing of this strategy will be appropriated from the county government's budgets and complemented through joint resources, mobilization with the national government and development partners. This strategy is a living document that has been integrated in the review of county integrated development plans of all counties and annual development plans. It has also informed the ongoing process of supplementary budgets for the financial year 2020-2021. In implementing this strategy, we are optimistic that we shall be able to revive a considerable number of businesses that have since collapsed during this pandemic. Further, through these strategies, we are hopeful to have a robust recovery that will propel job creation and offer some gainful livelihood for the citizen. Thank you, and God bless you.
Your Excellency, thank you very much for giving us that opportunity to hear from the chair. And we'll have a short video presentation before I invite His Excellency, the Deputy President, to address and invite Your Excellency. Thank you.
So, my fellow Kenyans, on Friday, March 6th this year, the government of Kenya received confirmation of the first case of COVID-19, more commonly known as coronavirus.
The Council of Governors, during its brief to the public, highlighted some of the efforts that county governments have put in place to address the issue of COVID-19.
Now, the counties too would like to raise domestic revenue to finance their development. Many counties have established youth enterprise funds, women enterprise funds, and so on, so that to support local entrepreneurship.
As the country continues to face the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, the county governments through the Council of Governors have found it necessary to develop a socio-economic re-engineering and recovery strategy which will feed into the National Economic Recovery Strategy. This strategy provides guidance to the counties to bounce back from the effect of COVID-19 to recover and build a more resilient and sustainable economy. In responding to the pandemic, counties came up with county-specific COVID-19 prevention guidelines and strengthened community surveillance while implementing the COVID-19 prevention measures, including social distancing and general hygiene. Unity is strength, resoluteness is the essence of struggle. The collective response of both the national and county governments to this pandemic demonstrates the importance of interdependence of the two levels of government. Through a multi-pronged approach, they have remained steadfast to minimize the effect of the pandemic on the citizens. The Council of Governors extends its gratitude to the Re-Engineering and Recovery Committee as well as the development partners for their invaluable support during the development of the strategy. Special thanks to KIPRA for providing the technical lead throughout the preparation of these strategies. Pillars for county recovery and re-engineering strategies include boosting private sector activity. The county governments will improve the infrastructure and promote organization of small and micro enterprises and create an enabling business environment at county level. Human capital development. The county governments will invest in technical education and skills development, extend the scope of universal health coverage, and promote community health and workplace safety. policy, legislative, and institutional reforms. The county governments will review the Public Health Act, the Water Act, and the agriculture sector laws to provide further clarity in the assignment of functions, strengthening county governments' preparedness and response to pandemics and disasters. The county governments will develop a legal and regulatory framework necessary for the management of all disasters. Support to key sectors: agriculture, enhancing agro-processing, marketing, financing, uptake of technology and value chain capacities in all counties. Water and sanitation. Promote the importance of hand washing, expand, rehabilitate and reticulate the water infrastructure and embrace appropriate waste management technologies. Tourism. Diversify tourism products, enhance domestic tourism and develop county-specific tourism information and data centers. Health. Proactively address the mental health needs, including those of the health workforce, and mainstream the role of community health volunteers within the healthcare system. Education. Support back-to-school campaigns, improve access to water, sanitation, and health services in learning institutions, and strengthen the delivery of early childhood and vocational training. Social protection. Provide counseling services, develop a comprehensive database for vulnerable persons, and ensure their access to affordable healthcare. Gender and youth. Support gender champions and strengthen inclusive community outreach to affirm the participation of women, youth, children, and persons living with disabilities to alleviate poverty and spur growth of the economy. Environment and natural resources management. The county governments to collaborate with other stakeholders in order to increase forest cover. Economic stimulus program. The economic stimulus package shall prioritize settlement of pending bills, financing and implementation of economic stimulus package. Resource mobilization for implementation of the economic stimulus shall entail collaborations between national and county governments and will require adequate financing over the fiscal years 2020 and 2021 to 2022 and 2023. Monitoring, evaluating and reporting. The COVID-19 re-engineering and recovery strategies will be reviewed quarterly, half-year and annually for 3 years by county governments to track the progress and implementation status.
Makofi jamani, that was a wonderful video presentation. And may I now invite His Excellency, the Deputy President, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, to address the congregation and invite His Excellency, the President. Please.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta, the Chair of the Council of Governors, Wycliffe Oparanya, the Speaker of the Senate, CS Eugene, Governors, Deputy Governors, PSS, Development Partners, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Your Excellency, this occasion is significant for two reasons. The groundbreaking ceremony here will give the Devolution family a building that will consolidate all the players that are involved in devolution in one building, thereby enhancing their efficiency and efficacy. And I want to thank the Council of Governors for believing in our professionals. Ordinarily, the Council of Governors would have tried to look for a plot somewhere to buy and then to struggle to build. But instead, they have chosen the right path. They have allowed professionals to build the building for them, and they can buy and continue with the management of our devolution units around the country. Your Excellency, this is significant because in this building, there will be offices for county governments, there will be liaison officers of the Treasury, There'll be liaison officers of the ministries concerned, and it will make it, including KRA for that matter, it will make it that much more easy for devolution to succeed. And it will provide the paradigm shift that we've all been looking for a bottoms-up approach to our development than the old trickle-down. Your Excellency, the strategy that has been put together, the post-COVID re-engineering of social-economic matters in our counties, has also tapped into the expertise of KIPRA. And I came here earlier and I listened to presenters, and the target of this strategy is to ensure that incentives, investment, programs are targeted at the grassroots, at the lowest possible units, which will give us the opportunity to ensure that the partnership between national and county governments, especially on matters of provision of water, on matters of housing, and on matters of agro-processing, value addition, and industrialization, there is a clear framework that is provided under this strategy for the partnership to make sure that we do not duplicate, but we synergize so that we can get results better, faster, and in a much more cost-effective manner. Again, let me congratulate the Council of Governors for coming up with this re-engineering strategy. Your Excellency, it is not in my place to speak more than that. It's now my very humble duty to request all of us to be upstanding. Your Excellency, the President, to make his remarks. Your Excellency, sir.
Thank you very much, William. Please be seated. The chairperson of the Council of Governors, Governor Wycliffe Oparanya, Deputy President, Speaker of the Senate, we come together here this morning to witness the groundbreaking ceremony for this G47 Ungatuzi Tower. I believe a further step towards cementing the devolution agenda, and also a testament to the ever-growing collaboration and strengthening of partnerships between our two tiers of government. Let me also say that it is wonderful to also witness the partnership between the Council of Governors and the Pension Fund, meaning that resources that are available to the pension fund are being reinvested in strengthening our devolution agenda, while at the same time protecting the ultimate interest of all our devolution workers. So hongera, my friend, pongezi sana, pongezi kwako. I think that is wonderful. And asante sana kwa kukumbuka a water meter who used to roam these areas in the early 20s. Asanteni sana, tunashukuru. Tunasema asante. Let me also say that I am delighted and indeed very humble to accept your offer, Chairperson, to name the museum that will be on the site after me. And I look forward to working with you and your team towards its development. Asante sana, nashukuru sana. Thank you. Today, we also convene to witness the launch of the social economic strategy that will anchor our national effort to bounce back better and stronger from the negative impacts of COVID-19. Ladies and gentlemen, the outbreak and spread of COVID-19 pandemic and the measures taken to contain the spread of this virus have no doubt devastated not just our economy, but all global economies. Available estimates show that overall in 2020, the world economy would reduce by 4.4%, made up of a reduction in advanced economies of 5.8%, a reduction in emerging and developing economies of 3.8%, and in our own sub-Saharan Africa, a decline of 3%. Kenya's economy has also suffered the wrath of this pandemic, and it is estimated that we shall register a growth of 0.6% in 2020, and this is indeed a sharp drop from the growth of 5.4% that we had in 2019. This growth reduction largely reflects the negative growth in tourism and our hospitality sector, in education and the transport sectors, which crowded out the growth that we managed to register in agriculture, financial and insurance activities, construction and real estate development. So, ladies and gentlemen, we as leaders and policymakers at both the national and county government levels must grapple with a basic question. How can we best strike the delicate balance between the public health imperatives of combating COVID-19 on the one hand, and the need to secure livelihoods and economic vitality on the other? We must rethink our strategies and identify ways in which we can turn this moment of adversity into a moment of opportunity. How can we, as Kenya, bounce back better and stronger in a post-COVID-19 environment, taking advantage of the lessons, innovations, and resilience that this crisis has unearthed? As we do this, we must keep in mind the following pertinent questions and issues. We must ask ourselves, what if international borders are once again closed and a fresh round of extreme restrictions on the international movement of goods and purposes are once again imposed? How shall we react? What if the current COVID-19 status quo prevails for longer than expected? And how ready is our nation's healthcare system, our supporting infrastructure, and our human resource base? How ready are we in the event of an emergence of a similar public health emergency sometime in the future? We must ask these and other profound questions, just as is being done in every other nation across the world. The pandemic has underscored the urgent need for Kenya to revitalize our health and welfare systems, establish a more progressive, effective, agile, as well as a sustainable safety net that meets the fast-changing needs of both current and future generations, and the need for closer planning and cooperation between our two tiers of government. I am glad to note that a positive aspect of this pandemic has been the fortification of intergovernmental relations between the two tiers of government. We have discovered new synergies, developed collaborative arrangements that can cascade to other areas of service to Kenyans and show that we can truly fulfill the one government of Kenya ideal. Together, Chairperson, we have expanded our physical health infrastructure installed new and more medical equipment, recruited additional healthcare workers, upskilled our health service labor force, and deployed a testing and contact tracing system that has been a role model for other African nations. And all of this together has moved Kenya closer to achieving our universal health coverage. And it is for this reason that the county government COVID-19 social economic re-engineering and recovery strategy could not have come at a better time. The strategy, which we have heard a brief summary from Governor Nyang'nyong and that we are just about to launch, is targeted at creating a grassroots social economic upsurge that will build on the innovation and resilience that we have seen during this pandemic. This strategy must drive real growth and rebound within the counties, which, when coupled with the complementary efforts that we have introduced and shall continue to implement at the national level, I believe that these two aspects together shall and can deliver great dividends to all Kenyans. Ladies and gentlemen, Kenyans are looking to us as their leaders to guide this nation out of the quagmire caused by the pandemic and into greater equity, service delivery, and prosperity. Fellow leaders, this is not a time for business as usual. The strategy plans at both the county and national levels draw on limited resources that have become even more diminished due to the social economic impacts of the pandemic. These limited resources must be utilized strictly for the purpose of elevating our nation. They must be used faithfully and with utmost transparency and accountability. We will not have a second chance at implementing recovery and resurgence strategies for the enduring benefit of Kenyans as we do now. If we waste this chance, we will certainly consign our motherland to years of being mired by economic slowdown and social injustice. I call upon all relevant internal units and external agencies to exercise heightened vigilance and oversight to ensure that funds are used prudently and lawfully. I also wish at this juncture to thank all our development partners who have collaborated with us during this period, but also before, and who we look forward to partnering with in the future as we seek to fulfill our social economic objectives as lined out by our own Vision 2030, as outlined in our African Union strategy, as well as the SDGs. We truly appreciate all our development partners who work closely with us to achieving this agenda, and indeed, as was stated, we thank the offices of the United Nations and all the other development partners who have been close collaborators. Asanteni sana. But at this juncture, I must also make it clear that while we appreciate your support and look forward to your collaboration, we must always remember that Kenya has its owners, and its owners are 50 million Kenyans. And please, I ask you to refrain from interfering or telling us or trying to direct us in which way we should go. We are clear on where we want to go. We ask you to join us, to support us in that endeavor. But do not interfere, because we shall not allow for you to dictate to us which direction that should be. That will be up to Kenyans. Na tafadhali nawaomba kwa heshima kubwa, mtuheshimu ndio tuwaheshimu. Si namna hiyo, kila mtu ako na shida zake, ama namna gani? Even they have their own problems to resolve huko kwao.
They have no business lecturing us about how to fix ours. Anyway, I say that in good faith, very good faith. I will not allow that, and we shall not allow that as a country. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude, I wish to extend our internal national gratitude, especially to our health workers, whose excellent services and sacrifices have saved countless lives. I also wish to thank our law enforcement, our administration officers, our essential service providers, all at the national and county government levels who have kept the Kenya flame burning bright, and for that, we shall forever be eternally grateful. I wish to thank both houses of Parliament for appropriating the resources that we have needed in this period of pandemic, and I look forward to further collaboration with you as we continue with our recovery strategy. I commend our judiciary for embedding innovation and technology in keeping the wheels of justice turning, and I also thank the executive at both levels, as well as our county assemblies, for your diligence and drive. Kenya's religious sector, our private sector, and Kenyans from all walks of life have stepped up when called upon. And I am confident that if we continue working together, just as we have done in the last 9 months, Kenya can and will emerge from this crisis better and stronger. Our unity is indeed our shield and our greatest strength. When we all pull in the same direction, there is nothing that Kenya cannot achieve. So with these brief remarks, ladies and gentlemen, it is not only my distinct honor, but also pleasure to declare the county government COVID-19 social economic re-engineering recovery strategy for 2021 to 22-23 officially launched, and I also wish you every success in completing this magnificent building that we have just seen, and I look forward to joining you at a later date when we shall be here proudly opening your new facility. Na wewe Bwana Eugene uanze kutafuta vile utaondoka ukuje mkae na hawa kwa hii nyumba hapa. Hakuna haja ya unalipa rent huko na hawa wamekupatia space hapa. Kuja ukae na wao. Mfanye kazi na wao. Mungu awabariki nyote na walinde. Asanteni sana.
Thank you so much. Let's appreciate His Excellency, and most humbly I now wish to invite His Excellency at the lounge position so that His Excellency can press the buzzer. It is the official launch, and the President now presses the buzzer with the Chairman, the Deputy President, and also the Speaker of the Senate. Serikali ndio hiyo. Let's appreciate them as the President presses the buzzer.
The Council of Governors presents to you County COVID-19 Socio-Economic Re-Engineering Recovery Strategy.
Let us appreciate the strategy, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Tupongeze kazi nzuri iliyofanywa na magavana wetu and very specifically Council of Governors. Thank you. Thank you. Let's appreciate once again, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Amatia Club, the official launch of the County COVID-19 Socio-Economic Re-Engineering and Recovery Strategy. Nitaomba Mheshimiwa Rais anikubalie nimwombe atamkabidhi naibu wa rais kopi moja. Nitaomba my colleague Mercy a copy to His Excellency the President ili amkabidhi naibu wa rais. Tumpongeze kwa makofi tafadhali. Nitaomba amkabidhi mwenyekiti the COG chair. Asante sana. Nitaomba amkabidhi the co-chair, the vice chair Honorable Mwangi wa Iria kutoka Murang'a kindly. Thank you, Governor. Asante. The chairman of the committee, Professor Anyang' Nyong'o. Mheshimiwa Nderito Mureithi, na kwa niaba ya Gender Balance, the Deputy Governor from Nyeri. Nitaomba wale ambao tuko kwenye jukwaa tuweza kuzishika ili tuweze kupata picha moja tafadhali. The Excellency. One copy for His Excellency ili tuweze kupata picha. Let us appreciate the County COVID-19 Socio-Economic Re-Engineering and Recovery Strategy. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Rais. Niombe sote sasa kwa heshima walio na kofia ambazo si rasmi tuweze kuzitoa ili tuwe wima kwa wimbo wa taifa. Asanteni sana, nitaomba viongozi wote waweze kuwa watulivu tunapompa mheshimiwa nafasi ya kuondoka. Tuwe watulivu tafadhali ili tumpe mheshimiwa rais nafasi anapoondoka. Wengine wote tuwe watulivu tafadhali, tusitoke nje ili mheshimiwa rais aweze kuondoka kwa hiari yake. Asanteni sana, muwe na siku njema.